I'm joined by Paul Noland from the Dawn Group. Paul, listening to the presentations this morning across the meat sectors, it has been quite an upbeat presentation on 2017 and reasonably optimistic in 2018 as well.
Absolutely, I think we've come off a very good 17. As you know, this time last year, Phelim, there was a lot of foreboding with 100,000 extra cattle in the system. But at the end of the day, as we've always said, the market is the market, and luckily the market was there, and I think we did a good job in terms of exploiting the opportunities that presented themselves. As we heard this morning, the fundamentals seem to be very good again for 2018, but that's the day you perish if you'd make assumptions. So I suppose, as usual, we always have to be on the alert and working towards very good strategies, like, for example, market prioritisation and so on.
So is it a case then in 2017 we were lucky with international markets? It wasn't that we had done anything particularly specific that made it happen, if you like?
Well, I'd love to stand here and tell you that we did a wonderful job and we created a market. At the end of the day, the market dictates everything from consumption through obviously to demand and then into price and so on. So at the end of the day, I think, yes, we were fortunate that the market came right at the right time, just as Irish numbers moved up and an opportunity arose. And as I said, I think we did a good job in exploiting those opportunities when you see prices where they finished in December 2017 as against 16, for example.
And I suppose now, looking ahead to 2018, and again it's projected that there'll be a smaller increase this time in numbers, but nonetheless an increase. There's going to be no lessening on the supply side. Are you confident, are you optimistic that the industry will handle those, that the international markets are sufficiently robust that we can maintain and indeed perhaps even grow prices further into 2018?
Well, as always, obviously I haven't got the crystal ball in front of me, but I would say to you that definitely, based on what we heard here today at the Board B seminar, from people who are very much at the face of marketing and trending and so on, that the fundamentals are certainly very sound at this stage. We all know, and we can recall events in the past, be it mad cow disease or whatever, that jumps out of the wardrobe on top of us unexpectedly. But if we don't have any skeletons like that, basically the year does look reasonable.
I suppose, looking at through the eyes of the Dawn Group, 2017 is the year you had a major acquisition with the Dunbea Group. You as a company will be well positioned to go and exploit markets throughout the UK and further afield in 2018?
Well, look, at the end of the day, Phelim, if you're an exporter, you've got to be well positioned. You can't sit on your hands, and it's always about looking for potential opportunities. Even if there was no Brexit, I think that's very much part of our role as marketeers, as exporters of Irish beef. In a business where 90% of it needs to be exported, we've always got to be at the cutting edge.
Just speaking of Brexit, and it is the elephant in the room, obviously, in all things associated with the meat industry now, and looking at it through your company's eyes, looking at it through Irish agriculture's eyes, if worst case scenario does arise and there is a hard Brexit as it's referred to, what can the Irish beef industry do? And I'm looking at this from the farmer's perspective as well as the processor's perspective. Are we just not simply doomed?
Well, I suppose, again, I can answer that in two ways. Number one, as far as Dawn Meats are concerned, 30 hard years have gone into developing the British market. It is one of the best we have, and we will do everything in our power, obviously, to maintain that as best we can. We also obviously have to have, as I said, the Plan B, and the Plan B is constantly looking at where the potential is around the world in other markets, hence this market prioritisation business. And I think, first of all, if the worst were to happen, I think we can take some comfort in that there would be a lag, there'd be a time in which that would happen. It wouldn't be a knee-jerk situation. And on that basis, we do, I suppose, as we've always done in this industry, and that is move on to the next best markets.
Okay, and I suppose then the final point, going in 2018, are you optimistic, Paul, that it will be another reasonably satisfactory year for the Irish meat industry?
Certainly, am I optimistic? I certainly feel reasonably good about it. As I said, you're just always afraid when everything seems to go one way, things come out of the blue, and I think that's what we have to be careful for. But can I just say that I'm very optimistic about certainly the pulling together of industry and particularly our farmer suppliers. I've seen in the last year or two with the industries involved in various farm demos, and indeed yourselves at the Journal, and of course the work that we're doing currently with young beef farmers through MOCRA. There is definitely in the next generation a real willingness to stay at beef, provided it is sustainable, and that's something we're working
and you have
at.
Your own programme at Athenry as well, of course?
We have, of course, yes. We have our farm over, we call it Newford, and we're now heading into year 4 in that, and so far the progress has been very steady, and as you know, we do a lot of open days, including currently for the KT groups throughout the country. So we're giving everybody an opportunity to come, and the basis of it is there an alternative to the traditional suckling method of producing beef in the country? And we're warts and all, it's open for the public to come and see if there are any aspects of that might be applicable to an individual's farm to better themselves based on technical advice.
Paul Noland, Don Meats, thank you very much.
Thank you, Phelan.